but participating in this Scalerator is a very big time commitment. It's about 100 hours over the period of a 6 months, roughly 6 to 7 months. So that's not a trivial commitment. We respect the time because we've been in your situation. We've been in the companies, we've been in those same seats ourselves. And we know how that time is by far the scarcest and most valuable resource. So we try to make every minute productive. It is a time commitment, but we think it pays off with a very high multiple. The other thing that's really important is we've designed the Scalerator to both lay the groundwork for future growth and sustained growth, but also to get quick wins, so that we try our best, and we're very successful in doing. We including the companies, not just the faculty, but the companies are very successful in getting very quick, new, small indications of growth within weeks. So the Scalerator helps you create growth. It's a framework for getting incremental revenues, profits, and better cash flows. The MBA, of course, gives you the conceptual understanding that'll make that process faster, but getting an MBA doesn't give you growth. It gives you the understanding of how to make growth happen. This gives you growth. This is actually work. Well, a workshop means it's a place you go in and make things. In this particular case, it's a place you go in and make growth. So it's a little bit like the difference between knowing what it takes to be healthy and actually getting healthy. We all know what you have to get, good diet, exercise, sleep, good social relationships, and so on to be healthy. But to do it, I mean, we're like in that sense, we're a little bit like a fitness trainer, but we also provide a lot of tools, not just accompaniment, not just coaching, but also tools to allow you to grow. But we are pracademics. We're practitioners who also have a deep academic understanding, but we're people who have actually been out there in the trenches for years. I know I built and ran a company for 15 years. So I know what it's like, not just in theory, but in practice, to grow and also to deal with challenges and with problems along the way. And that's true of all the faculty. All the faculty have decades of experience in actually growing companies. And in no particular order, so we organize the Scalerator around what we call the 3C model of scale up: customers, capacity, and cash. And each one of the faculty, even though they know all the 3 Cs, specialize in one of those Cs. So, for example, Elaine Eisenman has worked for many, many years as a human resource executive in small and large companies, and also advise small and large companies, including public companies, on how to build the human capacity they need in order to grow. So she's built these programs herself as an executive. Tim Markin has been the chief revenue officer for the Boston Globe Group. He's driven revenues and also built sales organizations that are global for the Gartner Group, hundreds of millions of dollars of revenues. Similarly with Xerox Corporation way back when, in not only being a great salesperson himself, but building a sales team, building sales process, building a sales organization. Kevin Mulcahy has built his own company, in fact, a few of his own companies, both in technology and also non-technology companies, and has also been an executive coach for the Harvard Business School Advanced Management Program and other activities. So every one of us, and of course I myself, I've been an entrepreneur. I'm an active investor in about 20 companies. And so I've helped grow companies that have some of which have been very successful, some of which of course have failed. And I've been a venture capitalist, made personal investments. So we've together as a group, I won't say we've seen everything, but we've seen a vast landscape of business issues, all focused around growth. I think people are going to be saying, maybe we should just wait for this. And my answer is, first of all, nobody knows for sure. We think that it's going to take a good 9 to 12 months for the impact of the vaccine rollout to really have an effect. And so, yes, of course, you can postpone another year, but that means postponing growth another year as well. We've also found that the remote delivery allows for much more flexibility in terms of meeting your peer companies participating, having additional team members participate. So even when it becomes possible to meet face-to-face, we're still going to be using remote delivery largely in order to create a bigger impact. It's true, there's some emotional benefit of meeting face-to-face, but in terms of flexibility and delivery and actual, let's put it, meat, the remote delivery is better. Sure. Well, every company takes a pledge and writes a pledge, commits to being open in terms of sharing information, but also being ethical and very respectful of the other company's private information. We've never had a problem with that because people understand that the purpose of them being in the workshops is to help themselves grow and to help each other grow. And they have no interest. There have been very rarely we have two competitors apply to the same cohort, and we don't have them both in the same cohort. They will participate in different cohorts. But so far, confidentiality agreements only go so far. More important are the ethical and the moral commitments to respect people's privacy. And they do that. And what that allows people and participants to be extremely open. We also have a few CEO-only sessions. The workshops for themselves are for the entire team because the teams are working on real obstacles to growth and putting in real growth initiatives, making them happen. And that requires an entire team. But from time to time, the CEO needs to talk about some particularly sensitive issues, and we have some forums for doing that. Well, the one that keeps sticking in my mind but is not it's not fresh from this cohort. It's from a previous cohort member, but it's a company called Automute, which is they until the pandemic provided, particularly for restaurants, they provided acoustical design so that very aesthetically, very inexpensively, a restaurant, you could go and rather than hearing the noise when you eat, you hear silence. It's much more pleasant. And Automute specialized in that. Well, pandemic hit, no more restaurants investing in making things. In fact, it's too quiet in the restaurants, not too noisy. He's been delivering his products to home offices and helping people in home offices acoustify. It's not really soundproofing. It's making the offices acoustically engineered very cheaply, very aesthetically, and doing it all remotely with remote instructions and buying products from Amazon, etc. His business has increased over $1 million in just from the pandemic, from the new business.